Um, I want to do like a founder vlog thing. I'll try to be doing this every week. See how that goes. Once a month, I think, is the easiest commitment. Once a week might be hard. I do want to kind of stylize or systematize how I think, what I'm approaching, what I'm tackling week to week, so that you have a viewpoint of what I'm doing in a sense. Because I'm in the financial realm as a trader, as a I wouldn't call it a proprietary fund, but a proprietary finance outfit, investment outfit, speculative, two speculative investors essentially, where I'm kind of trading as I go with a variety of products for now. So, with that, right now I'm trying to pick up a language, or I'm starting to pick up a language. Just started that today, the what 29th. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see how that goes. Um, I guess we, because it'll be you and I on my journey, and you'll hopefully join me here. So with that, what is, who am I? What is my company? What do I do? Um, I am a finance major, former finance major from the University of Houston. I'm a Houston native, or former. I used to live in Houston. I live in Central Texas now. Here's my degree. Ow. If you want any standpoint. So, like, I'm uh, very passionate about finance. What turned me on to finance, kind of in general, or investing per se, was like, at some point in high school, I think Bitcoin was like $800 or whatever. Um, what was that, 2016? I was briefly interested in it. I think Apple and like you have Warren Buffett and just the um, general journey. I think like into that direction where I wanted to study accounting. Wasn't really lost interest in that during college or freshman year, during COVID, because something that you learn physically or tangibly with pen and paper does not really translate well digitally. It might be now. It just I didn't have the attention span or the dedication to something that's just so um, granular and boring. That's not as animated and there's a certain direction where there's a lack of um, ambiguity. Even though I still appreciate the material, you still have to know it in some regard within finance. And I've yapped on about this probably for a minute and a half. And the you can go in any direction with finance, or at least in investing. You can go into speculative stuff. You can go into fixed income. You can go into crypto. You can go into, the world is yours, right? You're a painter. You're an artist. You're a storyteller, and you're here to figure out how you should approach things. You kind of get to be somewhat of a investigative journalist in your own sense, or you could just buy S&P and kind of just coast. Um, uh, you know, the world is yours, right? The world's your oyster. You can kind of figure out how to, like, the term be shuck it. Um, and so, that counting led me to finance because it's like, well, still trying to be adaptive and I still need something relevant. If remember right, the history is that like finance kind of splintered out of accounting in the 60s and so far and so forth. I'm very interested in the capital management, or what we'll call corporate treasury or corporate finance. And so all this pretext kind of led me into um, studying finance at UH. And then, over time, post grad, couldn't really find a job in my industry. And so I was like, well, I've really gotten close to getting what I want, but no one really has the answer. No one really has a solution I want or need or would like to have. And you get to build out your own little dream job or dream company. Um, I believe in college, one of my entrepreneurship classes, I had the thought, I had the outline or the rubric for this company. And it didn't really come to fruition until my last final for, of all things, an insurance class. Um, I forget. Shout out Prof Hughes. And that paper I wrote was essentially, if you had an insurance company, how would you structure it? How would you approach things? How would you do it? Um, and for funding from a private equity, theoretical private equity group, or a fund or something, and building that out, and so now, like, that paper is essentially like the framework for my company, but now I'm doing it a little differently. I'm not doing insurance. I'm doing investing, which is kind of an adaptation or maladaptation, whatever, of what I was already doing as an investor and trader since 2020. More so, kind of learning the ropes for like 2 year, a year and a half, 2 years, kind of fall into that investor framework, and then slowly kind of yanking yourself out of it and turning into a options trader, a retail trader. I've been doing this for 2 years now. So I'll have a separate video where I go about that. And that's kind of where, at least that's kind of where I go. So the things that I did in the past kind of led me to a point of like dissatisfaction and just like, you know what, I should probably just do it myself. If I can't find the solution, I can't, I think when there's a level of dissatisfaction, you have to get to a point of reflection or action, reaction, and seeing how things go. If I can't find this thing, I have to build it myself. And that's where I came into. I was working a job I didn't like. Um, for just to have a job, it's kind of like structural. This last year, I believe I've tripled like capital basis that I've been investing and kind of accumulating throughout college, and I guess this last year. And I don't know. I feel like uh, the biggest thing for 2026, at least my advice, I don't know if it's very broad. If you can't find something in your area of interest, honestly, if you have the resources, you have the talent, you have the network, bet on yourself. I'm about to do the largest investment and extraction of capital from my own personal stuff into my own company, Paradolia, with my business partner, where, you know, if you have access to stuff um, in an optimal situation, right? So in this case, I get one for one, dollar for dollar leverage. I get 100% leverage. I know I had to, here, some pretext. I essentially gave up or sold 50% of my company so that I could have a business partner where I can have dollar for dollar, essentially leverage. But I mean, you get to scale up a lot. And I know it was a hard decision, but just like scalability wise, it's kind of like a no brainer. So maybe there's a little ownership, maybe there's not. There's a lot of societal issues I'm trying to challenge and view and trying to understand hegemony and like, this traditionalist viewpoint versus the a traditionalist or futurist or acceleration. I don't know how certainly to like phrase it. However, pinpointing that where it's like I appreciate all these old world values, I appreciate all these traditionalist views, but they don't really seem relevant, at least for the modern workforce, modern worker, modern young American, modern heritage American. Um, where where do you fall in within society, economic or social or national? Um, there's a lot of things like there's so much information, and it's a shame that um, I guess what like the powers that be don't capture American talent, and that some of us, some Americans, some young men, roughly my age, have to kind of do it themselves, and I think it's a great shame, corporate wise, these certain weird attitudes that don't really invigorate the youth. So with that, bet on yourself if you can. Stick it out for as long as you can or have to, and figure out your exit plan or figure out your strategy to move forward. With that, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. This will be a thing recurring, hopefully weekly, but at least every other week or monthly. So if you want to stay tuned with my journey, feel free to join me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Here we are, here starting 2026 with something different.